Okay, now that you have started your Google form, we're going to take a look at settings. How to set up your Google form that it does what you want it to do. The first thing that we need to do is go to the settings area. Here we have the settings wheel, and we click on settings. And you notice that you're going to have three sections come up: general, presentation, and quizzes. So we'll look at each one separately. So on the general, we notice the first one is collect email addresses. You're going to want to check that box, because what that is going to do is that it's going to ask the person who is filling out the worksheet it's going to collect email addresses so that when you want to send back the graded worksheet or the graded test, they will know where to send it back to. So you have to check that box. This one is about response receipts. And response receipts is that you're going to send a copy of what the student did to them. That we really use when we're doing surveys, and so I don't think it's really that necessary here. So I leave it unchecked. Require sign-in. Restrict to users of the Ministry of Education and its trusted organizations. I always check this because it means that students who are able to access that worksheet must be in your school with that MOE school. If you're in a different situation, then you can uncheck that box. Limit to one response. Do you want your students to be able to go do the worksheet and then come back and change it? If you don't want them to be able to come back and change it, then you click limit to one response. All right, can respondents edit after submission, after they submit it? I do not want that, so I leave that unchecked. I want once that they have submitted, the worksheet will remain, their answers will remain. Do I want them to see a summary chart and text responses? This is asking if you want them to see a summary of what everybody who answered that worksheet, all the answers to that worksheet. And I tend not to want that, so I leave that unchecked, but that choice is yours. Next, we go to presentation. All right, so click if you want the students to see a progress bar. So if the worksheet is 25 questions, do you want them to see how far along they are on that worksheet? I like to say yes to that. The next one is shuffle question order. Now, there are some advantages and disadvantages to shuffling question order. If, like me, you set your worksheet sometimes with the most difficult questions being at the end and the easier ones being at the beginning, and you have a sort of way that you want the students to progress through, to move through the worksheet, then you would want to shuffle the question order, because it means that question 10 could now become question 1 and question 5 can become question 3. So you wouldn't want to shuffle order. Also, if your worksheet has been set up in a manner that the answer to question 2 depends on what was given in question 1. So there's some kind of sequential manner of the question. Then again, you don't want to shuffle those questions because they're not going to remain in that order. Why would somebody select shuffle question order? If the questions are independent and they all stand on alone, and you want to reduce the way that students can share, shuffle question order. So for one child, question 10 will become number 1, and for another child, question 8 is number 1. So there's no secret. They're all getting this worksheet with questions in a different order. So you can decide what you want to do with that, depending on what you're working with. All right. So for me, most of the time I leave that unchecked. Show link to submit another response. That is if you want students to be able to answer more than once. Right? Confirmation message. You can type a confirmation message, meaning once they have submitted the form, what do you want the message to come up? So I sometimes will write your worksheet has been sent to Thompson. Oh, sorry, wrong spelling. Your worksheet has been sent to Mrs. Thompson. All right? Because sometimes the students, because I work at the primary level, we keep on saying, Miss, you get it, Miss, you get it. Or so whatever confirmation message you want to put there, well done, whatever it is, you put it there. All right? Now we go to the section that says quizzes, and this is what you have to do if you want this to be a worksheet that we're going to mark, that Google Forms is going to mark. You need to select make it a quiz. If you don't do that, then it will not work. All right, so select make it a quiz. Do you want to release the grades immediately after submission? I usually leave that unchecked and I put later after manual review. I like to look at them first and then send back the results. If you want that as they complete the worksheet, they get it back, then you click immediately after submission. Do you want your students to see missed questions? Yes, I do. And when I send it back, do you want them to see the correct answer? Yes, I do. Again, that is your choice. So once you've done all of that, then you click save and you are ready to start filling in your Google form. Your settings are done. Okay, bye everybody. Each one teach one.